take a break from writing my next novel to continue on with reading some more from Soleman. And we're going to do a couple of chapters. This Big Toe's back, so let's see what he gets up to. Big Toe slipped in on his boots, ready to go out. Those boots were his pride and joy. Somehow they gave him a confidence and a feeling of power. First stop was a police station where he had arranged for the release of a few of the new inmates to form his new mob. Given the range of skills they possessed, he felt confident that better things lay ahead. They walked a half mile to their first assignment. To the mob's surprise, they were at the First Foothill Bank, a very small and unassuming bank which had been in its present location since it opened in the 1920s. Yellow turned to look at Big Toe in astonishment. Surely he didn't want to knock over this ancient edifice. They had a few large customers, their security was almost non-existent, and their ability to thwart a gang of desperate thieves abysmal. It was taking candy from a baby. They expressed their incredulousness at robbing so poor a prospect. Big Toe leaned against the light post and grinned. Once a month they do have a big depositor. Payroll for the entire police department and government. It's going to be delivered on Friday. That's 2 days from now. I want each of you to walk inside, take a look around. One at a time. Don't be conspicuous. Just take a look and come out. The men did as they were told, and when the last came out, they looked at him and shrugged. Big Toe said nothing, just waited to see who would comment first. Harry B. had been the first in, and ever since he'd come out, he had been thinking hard. I looked in the mirror behind the counter, and they have an emergency buttons. It's about 5 minutes from the police station, assuming they came from there. Perhaps another 5 minutes for them to call them out. So let's say we have 8 minutes to pull the job and make our getaway. He looked up and down the street. It was a one-way and one lane, so it would be difficult to avoid the police car if it came their way. Squatted on a rock and thought. The other men tried to come up with solutions of their own. Nels McGurk snapped his fingers. Bikes! We could use bikes. We could split up and take different routes. We each have a bank bag so the cops don't know who to chase. We meet up later, say the next day. He looked around and received the approbation that he had earned. Paul Pad took another angle. We could also try relays, 2 to do the job. Hit a dark alley, and the other 2 have briefcases to store the bags in. This way the cops will lose the scent of the original 2, well, if they're seen. Scruff Carruthers added his 2 cents. One of us could wait inside a dumpster and have the bag dropped off to us. Then the coast is clear, they can bring the case to the Big Toe. Big Toe was looking at his men with a foot-long grin. I knew I was right to pick you guys. You're thinking like a team. If I had had you the first time, my plans would have come off without a hitch. They walked back to the shoe factory and up to Big Toe's office. Fellas, you've got till Thursday before you pull the job. I want you to meet here every hour for an hour every day to go over how I figure we'll pull this off. Frankly, though, I feel you pretty much have it already scored. Here I'm going to let you foot the bill on this one. Let's see if you've got what it takes to be the leader. You looked around and spotted the alarms and figured out response times. I'll try each of you in turn on the next jobs we do. Whoever does it best becomes the mob boss and gets a raise. Now scram and meet here to go over everything with Harry. Harry, you set the time and what to go over. I'm here to listen and offer any advice. The men left and Big Toe moved behind his desk and pulled out a perfecto. Lighting it casually, he considered he had found the right group and big things were on the way. One thing troubled him, Soleman and Flats. He doubted they would be able to interfere, but it might be safer to get them out of the way for the time being. Going into deep thought, he considered options for forestalling their interference. The next day, Commissioner Wellington was in his office looking over reports. Somewhere there was a solution to Big Toe's problem. He was looking for an unsolved crime that he could recommend sending Soleman out on. So far, everything that he had tackled was somehow shoe-related. That was in keeping with his persona. But what would he do if faced with an actual crime? It was time to find out if this guy was the real deal or just a dilettante who had gotten lucky. Perhaps it was Flats who was the real brains. Rumor was he had at one time been a policeman and was well trained, top of his classes and of high intelligence. It's not his fault he had been dropped from the force. Once more, he looked over the files for a challenge. If Soleman failed, he would lose credibility. If succeeded, well, just meant Big Toe would have to be more on his guard. Either way, it was best to determine which shoe went on which foot. He pulled out one of the stack. This one would be similar to the caper Big Toe was planning. Someone had robbed the Second Foothill Bank. Nobody could give a description of the robber except they were 5'2", dressed in some bland-colored clothes, and had short hair. The police had set it on the back burner in case they struck again, but without more to go by, they were stuck. It might be a good one to give to Soleman. Let's see what he can make of it. He called the chief and recommended that they give the case to Soleman to see if he could suggest a solution. The case was duly passed on, and Soleman called in Flats so that the investigation could begin.